doing is just attending committee meetings that I'm appointed when we're not in session. I do go to a lot of committee meetings, and what I'm doing right now is a lot of, I guess, paperwork type of stuff, picking new directors for this and that. I did want to comment on the new Bear Valley Library, which I went to, and I was checking out some books, and I put my card down, and it said, now place your books there, and it said books. So I put a pile of about 12 books, and 2 seconds later it said they're all checked out. It's amazing.
That's the new system.
That's the new system. It's just really good. How many of you have already voted? How many of you received your mail ballots? Has everybody received a mail ballot? I think you should have received your mail ballots by now. I'd say call the Secretary of State's office to double check. I don't have the number with me, but I could get it for you. I'll put in a plea. All the numbered ballot issues, any one of them will really hurt Colorado. So on the issues, I'll say vote no, please, on all the numbers. On the ones that are letters, they came from the legislature. We think they were good, so vote yes on the letters and no on the numbers. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them. But aside from that, yes, sir.
What recommendations do you have for us in terms of the water problem?
The water problem, Western water law developed in Colorado because when our Denver forefathers were here and saw how new people were always coming in, that's when the first in line theory comes in. It's called something else, I forget what it's called now, but whoever was here first has the major water rights. And Denver Water, our forefathers made sure that we have the granddaddy of them all. So Denver Water is a really big behemoth in the state when it comes to water. I know that the board members that are appointed by the mayor are people with experience in water law, because if you do anything with water, you have to abide by the water law that's been developed over the years by the courts. And I used to know some people who were on the board, but I don't anymore now. And since our councilwoman was kind enough to give me this, I'll check to see if I can go to one of their board meetings. I remember years ago I did go to one of the board meetings, and I was the only one there. And they looked at me and said, do you have a question? But yeah, I was just coming to look and to watch what they were doing. So,
We're at sea.
yeah.
Without a paddle.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Ms. Labuda, I understand, or I was made to understand that the car tax that was passed this last year to increase our car tax, were you co-sponsor of that legislation?
I was not a co-sponsor, but I voted for it because it's a user fee. You use your car, you have to pay. If you want transportation projects done, like what's going on with US 285 now, there is one of the ballot issues would push that back down to $10 a car, which was what was in effect in 1910 when we had 2 paved roads in Colorado. You know, there was no money for transportation. So we increased the fee, the registration fees.
Okay, I disagree with that, but it seems that government, there's never recession in government, and I'm sorely disappointed that you voted for that.
Well, over the past 3 years, we have cut over $4.4 billion from the budget because of decreased revenues.
And that's because businesses are leaving?
No, that's basically because of the economic situation that's global now. Just drops in revenue. We're going to have to make some hard cuts again this time around. I've been in the legislature 4 years, and 3 of those years we had no money to fund transportation. Colorado Department of Transportation was just working on bond issues that had been established.
Where did that money go that used to be there?
The money that used to be there for transportation?
Yes, ma'am.
It came out of the general fund all the time.
That is correct.
And there was no money left in the general fund for it.
Because government expands so large, and even in the state and the local.
Well, yeah, government expands because the population has expanded. If we had the
Population of
population that we
Denver.
had back in 1910, we could get by with $10 for an auto
The
fee.
population of Denver is not expanded,
Colorado's population has.
Colorado's
Yeah.
population, but you are my Denver rep.
Yep. I know.
There's
And I
no,
have appreciated your support over the past couple of years, past 4 years. Any other questions?
Are you involved at all with state education and lottery dollars? How that, is that, do you have anything to say one way or the other?
Well, if you remember 2 years ago, I think it was the president of the Community College of Denver who came and talked in favor of increasing the hours for gaming and increasing the amounts that you could gamble, because part of the gambling money goes to community colleges. When the people of Colorado passed the law that established casinos in those 3 towns, Black Hawk, Central City, and Cripple Creek, I can never remember the third one. Part of the reason it was sold to the people of Colorado was that it's going to help community colleges. So community colleges, when the casinos do well, the community colleges do get extra funding from there. They haven't gotten any funding from us yet, any increased funding from us for the past 2 years. We've just been cutting their budget because of shortfalls. When it comes to K through 12 education, you know, the citizens passed Amendment 23, which I supported at the time, which was to make sure that K through 12 education got some funding. If there's one ballot issue, I forget which one it is, which would wipe out all of the decisions that local school districts made to increase their, property taxes or to increase their funding for schools, and that would make the state backfill what the local district didn't do. And right now, I think it is something like 30% of our general fund budget goes to K through 12 education. And if the constitutional amendment, proposed constitutional amendment that would passes, that would say school districts can no longer vote increases for themselves and roll back things like the mill levy freeze that we instituted, K through 12 education would end up taking up something like 90% of our budget that we have control over in a very short time. So I don't know if there's anything else, if that tells you what you wanted to know.
Yeah, my question is, we're ranked second to last in states in the United States for educational money spent. My sister lives in the state of Georgia. They use their lottery dollars for the Hope Scholarship. Louisiana has the same deal, where they give scholarships to kids that maintain a B average, and the lottery dollars pay 50% of their education. Why, we have the greatest parks in the world, the worst education. I mean, what's going on?
Well, I remember it was years ago when the lottery was set up, and the arguments against funding education out of lottery dollars that was given at the time that succeeded with the people who wrote the ballot issue was that we don't want to pay for education based on sin taxes. So I wish now, when I look at how much money has been going into the parks, and I love our parks, I'm a longtime member of the Sierra Club, I love the outdoors, but if that money had been going into our school system instead, I agree we'd be much better off. But the only way that school districts, our public schools are funded is by what, for instance, we here in Denver decide to do, and I don't think that I'm trying to think if we've ever defeated a local property tax or anything to do with our schools. I think in Denver we've supported our schools very much. But some of the rural areas where you have a lot of poverty, they don't have any money to pay for their schools. And our Constitution requires an equal education for all students, which has created some problems because we have to make sure that we give the same amount of state money to everybody, and then you have a very rich school district like Cherry Hills, which gives so much more because the people there are wealthier. It's probably not the best way to fund education, and I do wish that we could find a better stream of money. I listened to some people talking, and 2 years from now, in 2012, you may see something on the ballot to create an extra source of funding for education, and I don't know whether it's going to be something like, are we going to propose an increase in the income tax to fund education? I don't know what kind of conversation they're having. That would be my guess, because I don't know, unless you increase a sales tax on something and have that go to education.
Who's having these conversations?
People in the education community.
Pardon me for just a minute. This is more of a neighborhood meeting where there's
Yeah.
a political one. If it's going to turn political, I think I should just let you know it appears that you're being recorded.
Yeah, she knows.
Oh,
I don't think she did.
any other questions? Yes, sir.
What's the difference between taxes and fees?
Fees are specific to a service that is provided or something that you use, and taxes are something that everybody pays, whether it's income tax or sales tax on products I buy.
Well, so-
But I pay a registration fee on my car because I drive a car. Before my daughters had cars, they never paid a registration fee on their car because they
So-
didn't have a car.
Fees go specifically to the thing that they are,
Yes.
you're being charged for. So when I paid $30-some for the bridge fee, it went strictly to bridges. It did not go in the general fund, is that correct?
If there was a bridge fee, I never heard of a bridge
Oh,
fee.
yeah, ma'am. Last
Anyway.
winter I was in Phoenix and I had a car problem. I bought a car for $3,500. It was 12 years old. Now, why did I buy a car for $3,500 instead of $35,000? I'm not rich. When I came back here, it came within $5 of being 10% taxed to register that car. Do you think that's a little bit extravagant? 10%?
I don't know. I never bought a car for, I take that back, I have bought cheap cars, but
10%.
anything else?
10%?
I thank you very much.
Thank you.